Yes, I'm here. Check, check, 1, 2, 3, Mike.
First Coast News begins with breaking news.
And that breaking news tonight at 11, another tragic accident at a Jacksonville City Park. A 10-year-old boy is dead after being found with chains from a swing wrapped around his neck.
And police say he was at Charles Clark Park, that's on the north side, with his mom and his siblings. First Coast News' Honey Rodriguez joins us there live. Honey, such a heartbreaking story.
That's exactly right, Heather. It is really horrific, and police are calling this a tragic accident. This mother came to the park with her 4 children when the unthinkable happened. Police say it happened at a swing just like the one you're looking at. They said at one point that victim, a 10-year-old child, was actually standing on the swing, and at some point the chains from that swing set got entangled, choking him. Police told me that they are still investigating to see how exactly all of this went down.
The victim, who was 10, was over playing on the swings by himself, and when she turned around, she saw the child. He was hanging from the swing set and his feet was not touching the ground. So she immediately reacted. She got the child off the swing set and called 911.
That 911 call came in around 6 o'clock. At that point, the child was taken to UF Health, where he was pronounced dead. As you can see, the park does remain open, but the swings where the incident took place have since been removed. We're going to keep you updated on the story once we know more information. For now, reporting live, I'm Honey Rodriguez, First Coast News, on your side.
So very sad. And a report released earlier this year by the Consumer Product Safety Commission found that between 2009 and 2014, 34 people died on playground equipment. The most common type of death was asphyxiation. Of the 19 asphyxiation deaths, 5 happened on swings and 5 on slides. 12 deaths involved a second product like a jump rope or drawstring clothing. Head and neck injuries were the second leading cause of death.
He was looking for love, but what he got was a trip to the hospital. Police say a Jacksonville man was held at gunpoint and robbed after going to meet a woman he met on a dating website. First Coast News reporter Brittany Dion is in the information center with this story tonight.
Well, Anthony, we've heard stories like this before. This one man was looking for love and it led him to the wrong place. Jacksonville police say the man was attacked, robbed, and stripped naked while trying to meet a woman he met online.
These 2 women, 20-year-old Elizabeth Aline Rittenhouse and 19-year-old Kristen Nicole Freeze, were booked into the Duval County Jail and charged with armed robbery. It was out this house on Harvard Road in Jacksonville. Police say the man was set up by a woman he met on the dating site Plenty of Fish. The man says it was his first time meeting the unidentified woman. According to this police report, the woman led the man into a bedroom, then left. At that moment, the victim says 3 men with black shirts tied around their faces that only exposed their eyes barged into the room and beat him up, stealing about $100 worth of personal property, including his cell phone and wallet. The man says the suspects threatened to kill him if he didn't give them the PIN number to his debit card. They then put a bag over his head and stuffed him into a closet. Several minutes later, the man says he was handed his car keys and let go, but not before the men threatened his life again.
To safeguard yourself from that type of crime, you want to make sure that you're in a public area.
Mark Bachman is a crime analyst for First Coast News. He says when searching online for anything from dates to buying furniture, it's best to do your research on who you're meeting up with.
By going to somebody's house or going to some anonymous address where you haven't taken the forethought of looking and seeing where it is and doing a little background work, you're putting yourself at risk, basically.
The victim in this case was taken to the hospital with cuts to his face, swelling, and bruising. The police report lists 3 men as co-conspirators, but their identities are unknown.
Now, our crime analyst says meeting a person at a police station isn't a bad idea either. JSO reports both women confessed to being at the home when this all went down, but they say they were not the woman who lured the victim there. Both suspects remain in the Duval County Jail on $100,000 bond. We'll continue to follow this case and bring you the latest here on air and online at firstcoastnews.com. Back to you.
Brittany, thank you. Chilling details tonight about the murder of Savannah Gold. A law enforcement source tells us that her alleged killer tried to burn her body and dispose of it, but failed. According to the medical examiner's report, Gold had thermal injuries on 75% of her body. The report also says her lungs collapsed. Police say Gold was killed by her boss from the Bonefish Grill in Mandarin before being dumped into a West Side pond. Lee Rodarte, who initially confessed, has pleaded not guilty to killing Gold. This past August, he's charged with second-degree murder.
At just 19 years old, TJ Nunley's next chapter of life was just beginning. He was excited to start college and become a graphic designer, but he never got that chance. He was murdered in 2012, and now his family is left wondering what his life could have been and who killed him. Here's Katie Jeffries with Unsolved.
The bright yellow petals are unmistakable.
I think my favorite thing to see now is sunflowers. That was our thing, sunflowers.
Dina Westbrook's bittersweet love of the flower is rooted in the memories of her son, Thomas James Nunley. The middle child, with two sisters, TJ had picked up his mother's green thumb and his father's love of music. Gardening while blasting Beatles music is how Dina likes to remember her son. Not how his life ended. He was murdered in December of 2012.
The last couple days, I've done nothing but cry and think and wonder why.
TJ went out for a walk along Fort Caroline Road, as he often did, to clear his head when working on a music or art project. His parents, on their way home from a Christmas party, drove past the crime scene, not knowing it was their son that had been shot in the chest and died.
I think this one was also a robbery attempt that had gone bad. He was found shot in the roadway.
Dina says when she got the news, she didn't want to believe it. She called out TJ's name in their home, but was only answered by silence.
He could have given a lot to the world. He could have been a productive member to society and really given the world beauty. A lot of beauty.
On a table, she spreads out pictures of TJ's life, from his first picture as a newborn to the last picture of him ever taken at a wedding. His loss is felt in every aspect of his family's lives.
The hardest part for me was going to the grocery store and still buying everything that I always bought for him. I did that for a long time.
As the years have ticked by, Sergeant Dan Jansen with the cold case unit at the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office admits this is one of their more difficult cold cases to crack.
Very limited evidence. There was no video around in the area, so anybody that could have saw anything at that time in the morning that is involving him would be most helpful.
While difficult, he says it is not impossible to solve. Crime doesn't happen in a vacuum. People talk, and someone out there has information.
It happens in many, many ways in different forms, but information does come to us.
Dina says she firmly believes there are people out there who know who killed her son. And though her faith has helped her through TJ's death, she worries that her son's killer could take another life.
Losing your child, and then now not knowing who did it, so that person can do that to someone else. That bothers me more than anything, because I don't want anyone else to have to feel this pain. It's horrible.
As she and her family wait for justice, she says they plan on scattering TJ's ashes underneath a backyard tree and planting more sunflower seeds. So even on the darkest day, they can look out the window and see something beautiful taking root in TJ's memory. In Jacksonville, Katie Jeffries with photographer Jeff Renfro for First Coast News.
And there is a $15,000 reward for information leading to a conviction in the death of TJ Nunley. So if you know anything tonight, please call JSO or Crime Stoppers. Also, you can look for more of our Unsolved series. It's inside this story on firstcoastnews.com.
A Jacksonville mom is livid tonight after she says her 8-year-old daughter was attacked on the school bus and no one did anything to stop it. Look at these pictures she sent us showing her daughter's swollen face. LaToya Coleman says her little girl was punched and choked after she stood up for her younger sister who was being bullied. Coleman's wondering why the bus driver didn't intervene and why she was never notified.
You don't continue to ride this bus, you don't continue to drive it while you have somebody down here on the ground. What would have happened if she would have continued to choke my baby and my baby would lay down in there, she couldn't breathe?
Now, the district tells us the driver was not aware of the incident, but that they are investigating. They also say the student responsible will be disciplined.
Now, weather with your First Coast News storm experts.
All right, here we head into the weekend and a strong front is heading our way. However, most of the weather, that is the precipitation, will occur probably before a lot of us wake up on Sunday. And for you early birds, even if you do receive a shower, it's going to be a brief one. What about Saturday? Well, Saturday, and the isobars paint the pattern of a south and southwest wind. And that kind of wind preceding a cold front this time of the year means warm temperatures. These kind of isobars behind the front means a blustery day on Sunday. And then on Monday, the front settles to the south and the stage is set for what could be a soaker by Thanksgiving. More on that in a bit, but certainly the Thanksgiving travel week has begun. For those flying tomorrow out of the Jacksonville area to other regions, the greatest risk of some travel delays at airports will be Chicago, Detroit, and Cleveland. Though notice I'm saying delays, not shutdowns, because we're talking about a rainstorm up there, not a snowstorm, although eventually flakes will fly in Cleveland for the game. That's on Sunday, of course. Here, unflurry-like weather. Another way to say it, I think. Beach weather on Saturday, highs to almost 80 degrees because of those southwest winds. Now, flags will be flying on Sunday. That is small craft advisory flags because the winds will pick up. Up there at Sea Island, it's the third round of the RSM Classic. Another birdie of a day up there on Saturday. At the bank, this run has become a popular one. Yeah, it's going to warm up, but should be a pretty nice morning down there. Everywhere, pretty similar scenario as far as temperatures tomorrow. When I say everywhere, across northeast Florida and southeastern Georgia. Lows of 47 to 54, lots of sun, high temperatures to near 80 degrees. Then tomorrow night, probably the biggest event of the weekend. Again, there will be showers with the cold front, but that's after this is over. So balmy in St. Augustine, but I don't expect any shower activity. So again, as far as Thanksgiving is concerned, it's not a guarantee, but if you were planning on serving everyone outdoors on Thanksgiving, you might want to create at least an option.
Thank you, Tim. You know, we've had some really heavy news tonight, so let's share some positive news. An act of generosity by St. Johns County Middle School football team this past summer, it really has come full circle. Back in August, the Swiss Point Middle School football coach talked to his team about the importance of helping those in need. The team then voted unanimously to donate the $1,600 they'd worked hard to raise for an end-of-the-year celebration dinner at Maggiano's. They donated all that money to the Red Cross to help those impacted by Hurricane Harvey in Texas. Well, Maggiano's heard about the team's generosity, and tonight they surprised the team with a free dinner, and then Rebounders also heard about this, and they let the team have their party there for free.
Just helping people in need. We're more fortunate than a lot of people out here in this world. We're just trying to help out.
Well, we heard what the kids did, to help out the community, and that's just something we're really passionate about. So the least we could do is kind of give back and help the community that's been so good to Maggiano's.
So kudos to the Swiss Point Middle School football team. They didn't expect anything in return, but they got something wonderful. Thanks to the generosity of this community.
No doubt about it. They did a good deed, and look at the reward that they received.
Yep.
Well, that does it for us tonight here on First Coast News. Sideline 2017 is coming up next.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Jimmy? Hi. Mic check. Can I get a mic check? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You want a mic check? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mic check. Y'all ready to have a good time? Jason ready to rock and roll? It's not going to fail. It's game time, baby. Everybody's bringing their A game tonight.
It's grind time. Yeah, we on the sideline.
Tonight, on this round 2 edition of Sideline 2017, the stakes are getting higher and the matchups are getting even sexier. On the south side of Jacksonville, the North Florida Christians visited the University Fighting Christians. On the north side of Jacksonville, the Reigns Vikings tackled the Warriors of West Nassau. In St. Johns County, it was Lincoln at Bartram Trail, while the St. Augustine Yellow Jackets looked to remain perfect against Navarre. In Folkestone, Georgia, the Charleston County Indians battled Commerce, while Baker County welcomed Menendez. Also, we've got the photos you posted tonight using the hashtag Team Sideline. Folks, this is Sideline 2017, and it's time to roll those highlights right now.
It's grind time. Yeah, we on the sideline. Woo!
Hello and welcome to this second round playoff edition of Sideline 2017. I'm Chris Porter. Tonight we kick the show off with our game of the week. It featured the Reigns Vikings and the West Nassau Warriors over the north side of Jacksonville. Both teams came in with just one loss on both of their resumes. Director Jason, let's roll those highlights. The graveyard, the scene for this one. Here come the Warriors, and then here come the Vikings. Reigns would strike first. Ivory, silky smooth. Durham to Mr. Noble, wide open for 6. Reigns missed the extra point. It is 6-0. West Nassau goes to work. Caleb Crandall, a pinball here into the end zone. Make reservations for 6. The Warriors are up by 1, but here come the Vikings. Brandon Marshall, you think you're stopping him? Whoop, you did wrong, dragging the entire Warrior defense into the end zone. Wait, they go for 2 over the top. Amon Nelson would cap off this great offensive drive. Vikings survive and advance. They won a final 57-15. North Florida Christian at University Christian over on the south side of Jacksonville. And we start with a Play of the Week nominee. Caleb Boyd was on his game. Lets it rain, and Jaden Stoshak is going to clear it out. Diving grab. Moments later, Boyd hands it off to Stoshak on the left side. We call this high definition television. In for the score. We're tied at 7. UC back on offense. Boyd loves to fly, and it shows to Jonathan Jones, Player of the Week nominee. He's gone. UC up a touchdown. The Christian would go up 2 more touchdowns. Player of the Week nominee here. Boyd to Jalen Dunnigan. My guy. He says, give me that ball. Over the cornerback. He just snatches it out of his hand. UC wins 26-13. Trinity Christian at Godby. Oh, 2 powers going head-to-head down in Central Florida. That is Marcus Crawley calling his own number on the direct snap. 25 yards to the house. 7-0 Conquerors. Godby would answer right back. Jerry Bray finds Kyler Lane, and he's going to take this one down to the 10-yard line. Cougars would soon score after that to tie the game. Still first quarter action, same score. That is Rashawn McKay to Nick Dixon, who dives in for 6. That made it 14-7 Cougars. Trinity would tie it before the half. Godby up by 7. Austin Thomas to Isaiah Washington, who's dripping swagoo. Nice catch. They score the next play, tying it up, and they take control from there as Trinity wins 33-21. Let's hit the St. Johns County. The St. Augustine Yellow Jackets trying to remain perfect, taking on Navarre. We're going to pick this one up mid-second quarter. Jackets already up by 14. And oh, did Dexter Brown have a night, weaving in and out of traffic like he's on I-95. Play of the Week nominee, 93 yards to pay dirt. Jackets would take a 28-14 lead into the half. I said Brown had a career night. Don't believe me, my friends. Just watch. The third of 4 rushing touchdowns for this young man is going to come soon. Oh, they say he also caught one. There he is, doing his thing. Mr. Brown, oh my goodness. All he did was gain 360 yards on just 19 carries. Second half now, St. Augustine with the first possession of the second half. They picked up where they left off. I guess that was off-screen to Kareem Brown. Shot sheet here, quite confusing. Bottom line is the Yellow Jackets won a final 52-21. Hashtag Team Sideline. And folks, we asked you all season long, and we've asked you every night to show off your school pride, posting your photos on Twitter or Instagram using the hashtag Team Sideline. And as you always do, you've come through. We've got many more stops to make on this round 2 edition of Sideline 2017. We're taking you to Baker County, Bartram Trail, to Orlando to see Fleming Island at Edgewater. You are watching Sideline 2017. the sweet sounds of the Baker County Wildcat Band doing their thing up in McClenny tonight. Congratulations, Baker County. Your band is our band of the week. And let's get to the action up there in Baker County, shall we? Yes, let's get to it. Interesting note here, Baker County has never advanced to the second round of the playoffs, taking on Menendez, and that is Seth Page, who says, get on my page, taking that one the distance. Player of the week nominee. Wildcats looking good. Then this time, there's that man, Page again, coming right into your living room. Page had a great game. Will Menendez get it going? No, that ball is picked off by Lee Graham, and what you think he's going to do? Pop, lock, drop it to the house. 21-6. Wildcats, they were on fire. Third quarter, Menendez scores, but still can't stop the Wildcats. This is Lee Graham, and he's taking it. The pay dirt. Wildcats looking good, but Menendez would wake up. Darian Oxendine hits Noah Gillian for the score, but it was just too much. Wildcats, another Player of the Week nominee for Menendez. Ty Edwards, dripping swag goo. 99 yards to the house. That is a Player of the Week nominee. That tied the game at 28. But I told you it was just too much Baker County in the end as they go on to win 37-28. Let's go back to St. Louis County, shall we? Houston County taking on Barton Trail. Joey Gatewood, one of the finest players in the country, taking his talents to Auburn. Opening drive, Joey Gatewood calls his own number. Joey Gatewood making people miss. Joey Gatewood showing you why he's one of the best players in the land. 54 yards to the house. Player of the Week nominee, 7-0 Bears. Next drive for the Bears, Riley Smith in at quarterback. Smith is going to get some pressure. He is throwing it to the wrong man. Elliott Shorter, the second, stunting like his daddy, picks that one off. He takes it deep into Barton Trail territory, and that would set up this Kamari Morales 2-yard TD run. We're all tied at 7, but Barton Trail had too many answers. Joey Gatewood looking. He decides, I'm going to take it yet again. He steps right into the end zone. Gatewood's big night helps the Bears cruise past Lincoln 49-21. They will host the Golden Eagles of Fleming Island. Here's why they would, because Fleming Island got it done in Edgewood. First half, both teams got a lot of penalties, folks. I mean, it was a lot of laundry on the field all day long, and when referees weren't penalizing these teams, the defense was getting after it. This is the Golden Eagles getting after Mr. Harvey there for the sack. A lot of sacks by this Fleming Island defense. Our First Coast Sports analyst, Justin Barney, bragging on this Golden Eagle defense all season long. And they got it going on offense. They got it going. That's Chauncey Garrison powering his way into the end zone. Fleming Island won 23-7. Again, they'll face Barton Trail next week. Cheerleaders of the week, where are you? They were over on the north side of Jacksonville tonight. Our cheerleaders of the week, Wes Nassau. Congratulations, ladies. Keep smiling. Great season. You are our cheerleaders of the week.
Boys number 1.